What's up, my said souls? It's your girl EVB coming back to you again. I'm coming back to you again today, and today we're going to be talking about all things The Mandalorian. Okay, Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 3, The Heiress. Okay, I took some notes, so I want you guys to know that I'm so excited about it. I mean, I was waiting from last week to see what actually was going to happen and to see if they were even going to make it to Trask, okay? So anyway, if you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. The name of this channel is Because Evie Said So, and guess what? I'm Evie. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to come and watch this channel. I appreciate it so much. Like I said, welcome. I love you guys. I love conversating with you, and let's get right into it. But before we do that, let me show you what we have to eat today. We have some baked chicken. Let me take it apart a little bit. We have a casserole of, it's broccoli and cheese. I don't know if you can see it. Broccoli and cheese, and got some corn in it. And then we got some white rice. And we have some baked chicken. So I'm trying not to tip it too much because it's got juice in here. Anyway, that's what we're eating on today. You got some baked chicken, got some broccoli with cheese with some corn, and we got some white rice, and I even made some gravy. Yeah, gravy to go on the rice. I love gravy, y'all. I mean, come on through with the gravy. Anyway, I'm so excited. Let's get right into it. Let's bless our food. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for everyone that came out today. Ask that you bless them abundantly and give them what they need. And bless this food, please. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Great, great, great. Okay, so I ask y'all all the time, what's up, y'all? What y'all doing? How y'all been? Okay, I want to know how you are. Leave a comment below. Tell me what's up. Tell me how you been. Are you getting ready for the holidays? Are you planning on having less visitors? Because here in Chicago, where I'm at, it's like a semi-lockdown. They have about 10 people that are only supposed to be together. They're telling us not to be with our families for the holidays. And, you know, we're trying to adapt to these things, but, you know, things keep changing. And I know if they're changing for me, they're changing for you. Okay, so where is Mondo now? Now, we open up Season 2, Episode 3 with Mondo on his way to Trask with the frog lady and the child. Okay, now, as you know, the Razor Crest from last time has been severely damaged in the battle that he had with the spiders and everything, and with the crash that he crashed down on that icy planet that he landed on. I don't know the name of the planet yet, but I'm sure they're going to tell us. That icy planet that he landed on, and he had to battle those big old spiders. Remember that? And the X-Wing guys were chasing him. Okay, so we know that the Razor Crest has been severely damaged and compromised. So we see him barely making it to Trask. So when he gets into the atmosphere of Trask, he finds out that his landing gear is not working properly. Okay, so now he's having problems landing. So now he's asking the frog lady, look, come on up here. I need your hands. I need you to keep this lever where it is, and I'm going to try to glide us in, but we might burn up in re-entry. So now we got another problem. Not only does the landing gear not work, but he's probably going to burn up in re-entry into the atmosphere. So we see them struggling and trying their best to land this thing, the ship, in Trask. And as he comes into the atmosphere, he does start burning up. The ship starts catching on fire, but luckily it holds it together long enough where they can get through the atmosphere. And now all they have to do is worry about landing on the landing pad that has been provided for them, a space. Let me go ahead and put some gravy on here, y'all, and get started with the food because I am hungry. So anyway, now they are coming in too fast, and the ground people are telling them, look, you got to slow down. You got to slow down. You can't come in this fast. You're going to crash. I used some honey as opposed to sugar. Oh my God, these onions in here. Anyway, so As he's coming in, he's really going too fast. The child is even panicking. The child. He's panicking. You know. Anyway, they're coming in too fast. They eventually land. And I think, wow, they finally made it. They've landed. But not only do they not land, they land in the ocean. Okay? He totally misses the dock. Ends up landing in the ocean. And I'm like, Mondo, really? But he did his best now in order to get down. So the next thing we see is a giant walker. Hold on for a second, y'all. I need something to drink. We see a giant walker that is pulling them essentially out of the ocean and sitting them on the dock. And that's great because he's rescued. Yay. So they finally landed. And what happens after that is the frog lady jumps on out. You know, because she's been waiting for her husband. That's why she went there, so they could raise their kids or their eggs. So finally, we see the husband come to the dock. He's looking for her. She's looking for him. It's a lovely reunion. They grab each other. They start hugging. And it's a wonderful thing. Now, when he crashes into the water and they get out, and Mondo sees the frog lady's husband, his first thing is to ask him, do you know where my people are? Thank you. Some lemonade, y'all. Excuse me. First thing he asks him is, do you know where my people are? And the frog guy insists that if he goes into the tavern and he can ask the innkeeper, that he'll find out the information that he needs to find out. So now Mondo's on his way to the inn because he needs to know where his covert is so he can get to the Jedi and return, you know, Baby Yoda or the child. You know, I still think he's Baby Yoda. A lot of people say he's not Baby Yoda, but come on, he looks just like Yoda. But anyway, so he gets into the inn. The innkeeper is some type of squid guy. I hate to say it like that, but I don't really know what he is. But let me back up a little bit. When he was on the dock, waiting for the frog lady to find her husband so he could ask him the question, we see a hooded figure standing in the background in the shadows. We know that it's a woman. Could that have been Sabine Wren? Okay? Because she hides in the shadows and then automatically she's gone. So he doesn't really get a peep on her, but she's definitely peeping him. Okay? So we got something going right there. I really hope it's Sabine, because Sabine is a bad somebody, okay? But anyway, so once he gets into the inn and he sits down, he tells the innkeeper, hey, look, can you give my child a bowl of chowder? Because, you know, the baby's always hungry. So he gets him a bowl of chowder, and it's so cute because out of the chowder comes a squid-like thing, and it jumps right on his face. So now he's trying to get the squid off his face as well as trying to eat. And Mondo tells him, hey, stop playing with your food. And he stabs the squid, and the squid goes back into the food. And the next thing you see is him looking, the little child looking at the food like, ooh, okay, I'm ready now. So the innkeeper tells him, say, yeah, I've seen some people maybe like you, but I haven't seen them, excuse me. And he says, but I do know somebody who has. So he introduces him to this other squid dude, and I think he's called a Quarren or something like that. But anyway, this guy has a ship, a regular ship on the sea, and he tells Mondo, hey, look, you know, you bought that information from him. I got some information on the Mandalorians. I don't know exactly where they are, but I can take you close to where they are. So Mondo's thinking, you know, hey, you know, this is a lead. I think I'm going to go ahead and go for it. And he agrees to go with this guy on his boat for a couple of hours so that he can find his people. Okay. So look at that cheese. Look at that cheese. Look at that cheese. Cool. Anyway, that is doggone good. Some cheese, some broccoli, some corn, a little bit of heavy cream, a little tiny bit of honey. Shut up, okay? Yes. Anyway, so he agrees to go on the boat, And next thing we see is him sailing the high seas with the Quarren, his crew, and the child. Well, while they're on the boat, the captain says, hey, have you ever seen a Mandalorian eat? Or something like that. And he's like, what? So, I got my notes here. Sorry, y'all. So, it's called a Mandalore. And he asked him, have you ever seen it eat? So, he says, no. And the captain says, well, you should. You know, bring the child over here. He'll enjoy looking at it too. So, he brings the child over close to this big hole in the bottom of this ship where they have this thing captured and they're holding it, and there's a whole bunch of fish up there that he's supposed to be eating, right? So they're like, okay, well, we're gonna watch him eat. Well, Mondo, you know Mondo, he always be thinking, right? So he told the child, that's close enough, don't get no closer, just stay here. So the captain throws the fish down. The little monster tries to start bubbling up, and actually it's a humongous monster. What is up with the Mandalorian and all these huge monsters? Okay, everything's gigantic on this show, okay? But anyway, we gonna say that too. This monster's gigantic too. So he kind of bubbles to the surface. But before he does, the captain takes a long stick and pushes the child into the Mandalore's mouth. Now, before he can get eaten and swallowed up, he closes his bassinet, the thing that he's in, luckily for him, and then he's swallowed whole. Okay? Swallowed whole. So, anyway, after that point, Mondo is panicked. He dives in after him. You know, he's going to dive in and try to save this child because he loves it, and we know that. And that's his mission. This is the way. So he jumps in to try to, you know, get the child out of the monster's mouth. And when he does that, the Quarren and his crew slam these steel doors down over them. So now Mondo is trapped. They are after his Beskar steel, okay? You know that Beskar steel is so valuable during the Mandalorian time. Because, it costs a lot of money, and people actually want this steel. So anyway, they're like, yeah, we got you. We finna get this steel. And Mondo is trying desperately to get out, but he is locked in there, and the water is going over his head. He's essentially drowning. So at the last minute, when we think he's really out of here, that he's going to drown, what happens? All of a sudden, he hears some fighting above him, and we see a Mandalorian, or somebody dressed as a Mandalorian. They help him out. They get him out of the cage, and he says, help the child. The child is in there. The monster has him. So another female Mandalorian jumps in there, and she rescues the baby from the monster. Okay, so now we got 2 female Mandalorians and 1 other male Mandalorian. So that makes 4 of them, right? 4. So Mondo gets up there and he's like, thanks so much, you know, for saving me and for getting the child. And he's like, okay. They're like, okay, you're welcome. So he assumes these people are part of his covert and that they are Mandalorians. But once again, he's fooled. Well, I won't say fooled, because they are true Mandalorians. But when the one female takes her helmet off, who do we see that it is? Oh my gosh. We see this bo-katan. Bo-katan Krast. And we know bo-katan from the Rebels. We know bo-katan from Star Wars Rebels. We know bo-katan from Star Wars when they were doing the fight. Okay? Anyway, we know that her sister was the Queen of Mandalore. She was in charge. And her sister was, of course, killed. And now we know that from the Rebels that bo-katan has the dark saber, because Sabine Wren is the one who got the dark saber and gave it back to her. But in this particular case, she don't have it. She doesn't have the dark saber. So what's up with that? And not just that, but what's up with the other Mandalorians? I mean, I didn't even know their names at first. I had to actually look it up. So we got Casca Reeves and Axe Wolves. So Those are the other 2 Mandalorians that were there with Bo-Katan. But this is a freaking big deal because everybody thought Bo-Katan was dead. Well, girl, she ain't. Okay, let me tell you, she back and she finna be in charge, and she kicking butt all along the way. Okay, so anyway, we see that the Quarren try to bum rush the Bo-Katan and her people, and Mando and them make real short work of that. Okay, they kill them. They done. So once she removes her helmet, Mando is skeptical. He's like, you're not a real Mandalorian because we never remove our helmet. And she's like, well, this is the way. But she was like, you're from a different creed, but we're all still Mandalorian. And he ain't trying to hear none of that. So he blasts off with his jetpack and the child. The next thing we see is him standing on the bank watching the ship actually go down. He's watching the ship go down because Bo-Katan and her people, the Mandalorians, have blown it up and they've taken off themselves. You see them going off in the sky with their jetpacks. So now that they've left, sorry y'all. Now that they've left, Mando and the child basically don't have anywhere to go. So I'm assuming that he's trying to head back to the inn. Well, when on his way to the inn, what happens to him? Another Quarren. He sees a Quarren come out of nowhere. And the Quarren's like, you killed my brother. He's like, who killed your brother? Who? He's like, you killed my brother. I'm going to need to kill your child, your pet. And Mondo's like, look, I'm going to tell you one time, this is what we not finna do. Get out the way. Let me through. Well, now the Quarren and another crew show up. So it's like everybody and the uncle, like all this guy's family from the ship have shown up to kill the Mandalorian, Mando, Din Djarin. Well, we know Din Djarin ain't finna have none of that, okay? But he don't even have to do nothing because out of the air comes Bo-Katan, comes her 2 crew members with her, the other Mandalorians, and she lands and she says, look, he didn't kill your brother. And he was like, he didn't kill my brother. And she was like, nope, because I killed your brother. Okay. And then she shot everybody. Okay. They shot everybody. They took out about 10, 12 people in like 3 or 4 seconds. Okay. Because they not about to play. They about that life. Okay. They not finna have it. They on a mission and they got to get stuff done. So Mando is impressed, of course, and he tells them thank you again. And they say, well, can we at least buy you a drink? I mean, you think we're not Mandalorians, but we are. Can we at least sit down? So he agrees to sit down at the end with them. And at the end, they start talking about stuff. And he's like, look, my mission is to get the child to the Jedi because they'll know where he needs to go. So Bo-Katan is like, do you even know any Jedi? And he's like, no, I don't even know of the Jedi. So she does, though, because we know her from Star Wars Rebels, that she has met Ahsoka Tano and she has met the other rebels. So we know that she knows Jedis, okay? I am so geeked. I really hope they bring some of the people from Rebels in besides Sabine Wren. But let me stay focused. Stay focused. Anyway, so Mando is telling her, look, I need to get this child to the people, right? And he's like, okay, well, do you know anything? Because the child has to go home, okay? He has to go home. So she's like, look, I know some Jedi, but I can help you if you help me. And he's like, help you? Help you do what? So she's like, look, these people here, the stormtroopers and everything that are here, they've been taking our stuff. They've been taking weapons and we really trying to free our planet. So what we need to do is with this mission, we need to get on that freighter and we need to get all those weapons off that freighter. And then we're going to take them back and fight this war with that. And he's like, you know, Mando is like reluctant. He don't really want to do it. But she was like, look, I'm not going to tell you where the Jedi are if you don't help me. Because this is the way. And he agrees reluctantly to help her. So they go on this mission. They get on the freighter. It's no problem. They take out stormtroopers left and right. When they get inside, it's a battle. It's a battle because 10, 12 stormtroopers try to rush them. And they like, no, we're not having it. Pew, pew, pew. Shoot everybody. It's over with. Mondo gets into another hallway with them. And all these stormtroopers are in there this time. And they're kind of cornered because all this firepower is coming at them. But what happens? I'm going to give you a second to think about it. Mondo comes to the rescue because that's what he does. He rushes out there with 2 bombs in his hand and he go ahead and throw the bombs out. It kind of takes him back a little bit, blowing him back. So, you know, he's a little injured. He's not injured so bad that he can't do anything, but he saves the day. Okay, so now they need to reach the cargo control area. That is where they're going to find the weapons. Bo-Katan has already explained to him that the plundered weapons that these people took and they stole from them are items that they're carrying on that freighter and that she needs it back. So he's like, okay. So then they get into the cockpit where the actual, well, I won't say cockpit, pit. They get in there with the actual captain. But before they get in there, the captain calls somebody. He calls somebody and he says, look, they have already entered into the freighter. And the person is like, well, how far have they gotten? He's like, well, they've gotten into the cargo hold. And the only thing they haven't gotten is into the cockpit with us, basically. So, and what we see is a shadow of the person that he's talking to. We don't actually see his face, but then they turn it around. And guess who it is that he's talking to? Moff Gideon. Now, the last time we saw Moff Gideon, Mondo and his friends got away from him and he was upset. He was trapped into that he was trapped into that plane or whatever that he was driving. I forget the name of it. Please forgive me, y'all. But when we see him crawl out, we see him use the dark saber in order to get out. So now we know that he has the dark saber. But does Bo-Katan know that? Yes, she does. Bo-Katan wants to torture the captain into, telling her the information that she needs. She's like, does he have it? And the captain's like, if you asking me, you already know. Because now they've taken the captain, and the captain has already killed the pilots because Moff Gideon has told him, if they've taken it this far, you know what to do. Okay? So when he says you know what to do, what is he supposed to do? He's supposed to kill himself, commit suicide, and take the ship down, the freighter, so that it doesn't fall into the hands of the Mandalorians. Well, he okay with that. So he shoots the pilots. Boom, boom, they dead. Now he takes hold of the ship himself and he's driving it down from the air because they're in the air now. So now he's going to crash it to the ground. The Mandalorian's like, we're not having none of that. Let's get him. So they get him. Bo-Katan corners him. Like I said, she's trying to interrogate him to tell him to ask him where the dark saber is, because the dark saber is legitimately hers. It was her sister's first, and in order to rule Mandalore, she has to have that dark saber. But of course, the captain ain't telling nothing. He's being interrogated, and she gives him the opportunity to live. She said, look, I'm gonna let you live. Just tell me where it is. And he's like, well, if you have to ask, you already know. I'm not telling you nothing. And she's like, well, don't you want to live? And he was like, yeah, I do want to live, but Moff Gideon will kill me. So then he crunches something in his mouth. When he crunches something in his mouth, electricity grows through him and he's dead. Okay, he committed suicide. He would rather not tell her the information and live than face Moff Gideon if he had. So we know Moff Gideon got to be about that life, okay? Moff Gideon have to be about to get down and to get it in, because obviously people are deathly afraid of him. So we see that Bo-Katan is not satisfied and her people are not satisfied because they didn't get the information that they want, but they did get the freighter. So now they're going to take the freighter. So, but before that, she had already told Mondo, help me get these weapons. So when Mondo sees that the plan has changed, now she wants to take the whole freighter. He's like, look, I ain't with this. Okay, this is not what I signed up for. And she's like, this is the way. And he's like, okay, well, I'll help you with this too. Even though she changed it in mid-flight as to what the plan was, he still went along with it because he needs the information. he's got to get the child home, right? So anyway, they thank Mondo and they offer him to come and work with them, in the rebellion, so that they can get Mandalore back. Well, he's like, Mandalore is a broken place. It's not really our responsibility to fix it. I got other stuff to do. Now, in the meantime, where's the child? The child was rescued, but Mondo drops the child off at the Frog Lady's family. And he agrees to go ahead and leave him there. He asked the child, to mind his manners. And he says, you know what I mean. Basically, he was telling him, don't be trying to eat their eggs, okay? So now the dad and the mom are there watching over the baby eggs, and the child is there. We see the child sees one of the hatchlings actually hatch. So one of the frogs has actually been born, and he's totally amazed with it. He thinks it's the cutest thing. But when Mondo comes back to get him from the Frog Lady's house, he actually has to pick him up and drag him out of there because he doesn't want to go. The child is so entertained and feels like he's having so much fun that he doesn't want to go. Now, but before he went back to get the child, he got the information he needed from bo-katan. He asked bo-katan, now I helped you, tell me where the Jedi are. And she says, get ready for it, you need to go to a Jedi called Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano? Really? Okay, Ahsoka, and we finna see Sabine. Where is Ezra? Okay, I'm so excited. I cannot believe it. He has to go to Ahsoka Tano, and she told him to go to Caledonian, which is in the forest planet of Corvus. That's where he'll find Ahsoka Tano. But then something dinged in my head, and I was like, ding, ding. Ahsoka Tano's not a Jedi, but she does know Jedi. So I'm thinking he's going to get there. He's going to find out she's not a real Jedi, even though she can kick butt with the best of them. She did go through the training. She just stepped away after they accused her of doing something and she was proven innocent. She just lost her feel for the Jedi. She figured she could do on her own what they were doing collectively. And so she decided to leave the order. I don't blame her, okay? Because they totally gave her the side eye, even though she was so truthful with them constantly. But anyway, let's get back to that. So now he's got to go to Corvus to get this information. Are we going to see Ezra? Are we going to see Sabine? Oh my God. What are we going to see? Are we going to see the rebels? I know we can't see, one of the rebels because he's gone, but it's okay. So after he gets this information, Mondo goes back to the port, and he gets ready to take off in his ship. Now, he's already paid a calamari 1,000 credits in order to fix the ship. The calamari at first was like, look, I can't fix it, but I can make it fly. So then when he gets back, he sees all this patchwork pretty much. He's like, look, that's the best you could do for $1,000? And the calamari looks at him like, you got what you asked for. It'll fly, okay? So he agrees, and he gets on the ship and he looks around and it's so patched up, barely, that he gets upset about it. And he's like, that doggone calamari did all this stuff on here, but it's not really fixed. So he tells the child, look, it's going to be a bumpy ride to Corvus. The child seems like he's not paying attention because he's kind of amused at this time because it's a squid, a baby squid or octopus monster that's actually crawling up the wall and is coming down to eat the child. But the child is amused at it because he's like, oh my God, food. So we see the squid eyeballing the kid, about to get him. What happens next? Mondo grabs him like this out of the sky as he's jumping to get ready to maul basically the child. And the next cut we see is the child eating the squid, part of the squid coming out of the child's mouth alive. So obviously he's ate him. And we see Mondo flying. But before he jumps into hyperspace, he lets the child know again, it's going to be a bumpy ride. I finally got the information in order to help you, and I'm so happy. So let's go.